At the Plaza Hotel, this is one of our top sellers. I don't even have to put it on a menu for it to be popular. And I probably sell 25 a day, at least. I make our own horseradish infused vodka. And then I tape it, because when a bartender grabs a bottle from the bar, they grab the tape first. And if there's tape there, they know that there's something else in it besides the spirit. I'm gonna start with 2 ounces of my horseradish infused vodka right into the glass. And then I finish with the Bloody Mary mix. I've already pre-made my Bloody Mary mix. For a good Bloody Mary mix, you really have to be batching, because like anything, it really needs to marinate. It needs to sit overnight. We go through 12 liters a week. I top it off like this, halfway, and then goes a beautiful piece of celery and ice. Everyone uses their own garnishes. Ours gets a cucumber, a lemon, and a jumbo shrimp that's been seasoned with Old Bay seasoning, and that goes right in here for everyone to enjoy.
We're making a Filipino adobo Bloody Mary. I take a culinary approach to cocktails. Important ingredients in adobo: taking 3 toasted bay leaves, 3 crushed pieces of garlic, and about a tablespoon of toasted black peppercorn. I like to use vodka for my Bloody Marys, so we're gonna use Truman vodka, which is made by Hans Reisbauer. And another Austrian product that we're gonna be using for this is gonna be the ISI can. We're gonna quickly infuse it. It's called a rapid ISI infusion. We're gonna charge it. We shake it, let it sit for about 15 minutes. So 15 minutes passed, we're gonna release all the gas. So this is kind of a newer technique that's been introduced into bartending in the last 5 to 10 years. It's a good way to quickly get flavors into a cocktail. Boom. So if you can smell this, it smells heavily of garlic, toasted black peppercorn, and bay leaf. We're gonna do 1.5 ounces of our rapid infusion. I really like to use, for my bar programs, already made great Bloody Mary mixes. So we're gonna do 3 ounces of the Fever Tree Bloody Mary mix. Then I also add my own spices to it, a black peppercorn tincture. We're gonna do 1/2 ounce of sweet soy to it. Worcestershire sauce in a traditional Bloody Mary is used to kind of give that umami, richness, deeper, darker tones. Soy sauce is gonna give it to us here. And then I'm gonna use 1/2 ounce of Datu Puti vinegar. Every Filipino knows this and has this in their house. It's a Filipino vinegar made from sugar cane. We're gonna take some ice cubes now, and we're gonna add it to our Hamilton Beach blender. It's usually made to make milkshakes, but I like to mix my Bloody Marys in here because it slightly emulsifies it. I'm pretty lazy. I don't like to shake too much, so I like to use something that can shake for me. And so I have this glass rimmed with what I call a mirepoix salt. So there's a little bit of dehydrated carrot, smoked onion salt, and celery salt. And we're gonna garnish it with thinly sliced Vidalia onion and bay leaf with some peppercorns. Just gonna slide that in there. Filipino adobo Bloody Mary.
I work at an Italian restaurant, specifically Tuscan in the West Village in New York City, and I am proud to say that we do not serve any Bloody Marys at all, thank God, because an a la carte Bloody Mary is a complete nightmare. I would say the Bloody Mary and the Mojito are probably the 2 cocktails that bartenders fear the most when you're at 8 o'clock and you're 7 tickets in. If it's not pre-batched, it's a nightmare to have to make during service. I mean, at the end of the day, at home, a Bloody Mary is a great cocktail. This specific recipe that I use, I think, is one of the best I've ever tasted. A Bloody Mary is sort of food in a glass, so we're gonna start off with a lot of seasoning. I have pre-mixed, I sort of channeled my inner Julia Child here, and I'm gonna add a little salt, pepper, paprika, as well as some celery salt. And then I'm going to add just a couple dashes of Tabasco, and then a tiny bit of Worcestershire sauce. So I do a traditional tomato, no clamato or anything like that, and I'm gonna do 4 ounces of this. And then just 1/2 ounce of fresh squeezed lemon juice, and then our base spirit, which is going to be a citrus vodka. I feel like a citrus vodka really adds a lot to the cocktail. Excuse me. And so we're gonna do 1.5 ounces of that guy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some ice to my tin, and then I'm going to pour my cocktail into our tin, and then I'm going to pour it back and forth. So this is a technique called rolling. I just want to have my cocktail be nice and rolled and mixed all together. All of those spices get mixed up without that aeration. And then we're gonna garnish. Bloody Mary's a party, right? So you have lots of garnishes. We're gonna do a piece of celery in there. We'll do some olives in there. We'll do a lime wheel in there. And something a mentor of mine taught me back in the day was that when you serve a cocktail, you wanna serve it where the garnishes are facing the guest at a 2 o'clock angle. So instead of actually having it like this, where you can't drink it, you can sort of bring it up on a side angle like this, and now it's not in your face. You actually can get the garnish aromas and all that, but at the same time get your cocktail drink. And there's your Bloody Mary. Enjoy.
I am the head bartender and partner at a classic cocktail bar. That is what we're known for, making cocktails. We open at 4 o'clock in the post-meridian. Our bar is an evening bar. Bloody Marys are something you have with breakfast. I personally feel that a Bloody Mary is best when batched. For all the reasons previously mentioned, I didn't make a Bloody Mary today, but I've been provided one right here. Now, I'm from Wisconsin, and if you're from Wisconsin, Bloody Marys must come with a beer chaser. They're not full beers. Wisconsin beer chasers usually come between 3 and 7 ounces. This almost serves the same capacity as a pickleback would. This is the only way to drink a Bloody Mary in the state of Wisconsin.
Hi guys, my name is Takuma from Martinis, New York City. My bar is kind of classic Japanese style cocktail bar. So I'm going to make make-based Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary is very popular in Japan. This flavor profile is peppery, very green, salano, like kind of spice component. I'm going to make a Bloody Mary twist. Because this is using the natural bee wax, you need to heat to make a very clean, open wax. Open the bottle. One of my favorite spirits is mezcal, and also image of the Bloody Mary is savory, like fresh veggie, also kind of like a salty. The mezcal smokiness is good with that. So let's make it. So 30 ml of the Los Expro and clear tomato water, 60 ml. This is a regular Italian tomato, blended and strained with the coffee filter. So 1 bar spoon of the horseradish, 1 piece of serrano, 2 slices of the cucumber. Nearby our bar, they have a market. They have always like fresh veggies. So I'm always pick that and try to make a cocktail. There are 2 pieces of cilantro and blend with the hand blender. Taste it. So I need lemon juice and simple syrup. This is a savory cocktail and not sweet and more fleshiness. One more time blend it. The half salt lim for the Bloody Mary. The salt is very important. I like the more kind of like a rock ice, not perfect shape, natural carving. So that's why I put like, you know, the side cut off. I always make sure the taste after shake. Yeah, the cilantro on the top. Enjoy.
My name is Maureen Donahue. I'm the owner of Donahue's Steakhouse, a family business run 74 years. At Donahue's, when it comes to Saturday or Sunday morning, we sell a tremendous amount of Bloody Marys. I usually make it in batch form. Today I'm making it from scratch so you can learn exactly how to do it. It'd be impossible to serve it to scratch every time because the quantity served out. We're gonna put some ice in the glass. So we're gonna put some horseradish in. Should be a nice, fresh, ground horseradish with a lot of bite and a lot of flavor. My husband grows horseradish and cures it. It takes a while for it to be cured. You get the zesty taste of it. Gonna put a couple of dashes of Tabasco. You have a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, pepper, and you give yourself a nice 2-ounce pour of Grey Goose. And then you have your tomato juice. Make sure you shake it because it settles at the bottom. Sacramento tomato juice is something I grew up with since I've been a little girl. It's been the only thing allowed in the house, and it mixes well. Then you're gonna squeeze a little lime, a little lemon, and then we're gonna put the cup on top of it. I'm gonna shake it. And then you're gonna garnish it with a celery stalk. Perfect way for a Saturday morning.
So I work at the Bush. It is a lesbian bar in Bushwick. It's a very polite cocktail bar. During the week, we have a lot of cute events, and then it turns into a somewhat debaucherous nightclub on Friday and Saturday night. We do not have Bloody Marys at the Bush, fortunately. And I have not made a Bloody Mary in a very long time. I think they're gross. It's like stuff you put on like your oysters, but it's in a drink. All right, let's make a Bloody Mary. I stopped working brunch pretty early on in my 20s. It's a very demoralizing experience. So So you're gonna start with vodka. I bought Bloody Mary mix to save myself some trouble today. It's pre-seasoned, it's still pretty bland, but it's a good place to start other than, you know, tomato juice. So I'm just gonna fill this to the top with this. And I'm gonna put some Tabasco sauce, a couple helpings of horseradish. Usually you pre-batch all of this, so you're not really dealing with mixing all this crap in the glass. Like you just, boop, you're done. Let's try it. Let's see what it needs. All right, it's good. Spicy, it's got a nice kick. I'm gonna skewer a couple olives as garnish, and I don't think a squeeze of citrus would really hurt this drink, and it looks cute. This is how I maybe would like it.
My bar is Paradise Lost, and we specialize in modern tropical cocktails. Basically a new nomenclature for what we used to formerly call tiki cocktails. We have a lot of really fun, immersive decorations, as well as very flamboyant drinks with ingredients that you probably wouldn't expect from most places. This Bloody Mary is going to be inspired by the flavors of Filipino escabeche, which is going to have some caramelized onion, pepper, as well as some really fun tangy notes from pineapple. To start off, we're going to be using an allium tincture. This is going to have a little bit of pepper, salt, as well as some MSG, red onion, and garlic. Mimicking the flavors that you get from like Worcestershire sauce, so it gives it a little bit more of that very specific type of just onion and garlic spice you can't really get anywhere else. Bumping up that spice is going to be a little bit of Chipotle Tabasco sauce. Next up is going to be some lime juice just for some brightness. A little bit of freshly pressed ginger juice. This is going to be giving the bulk of the spice, playing off of the allium tincture that we added in earlier. In order to kind of mimic those toasted but also sweet and caramelized notes, we're using some freshly pressed carrot juice, some sweet red bell pepper juice. Next up is going to be some pineapple juice, also super fresh. This is going to give it that tangy, sweet, and spicy flavor that you're looking for. In OG tiki bars, you would never see anyone make anything. There were a lot of folks who were just like behind the scenes in a hidden kitchen, just cranking out drinks. A really beautiful drink would just appear in front of you, adding on to the mystery and the experience. Switching it up from your traditional vodka, I'm actually going to be using a little bit of shochu, a Japanese distillate that has a really fun, funky flavor from the koji that's used in its production. It's time to get cracking. In order to make a Bloody Mary, you don't really want to shake it because that'll just dilute and make everything else watery and all those really bold flavors. Rolling is an old school technique that does the same thing that shaking would do, but in a less aggressive way. It just basically emulsifies, combines, and dilutes all the flavors inside of your cocktail without making it too fizzy or watering it down too quickly. So this Bloody Mary is going to be served inside the Paradise Lost zombie glass, a glass that's traditionally used for serving zombies in, which is a traditional tiki cocktail. I'm going to be garnishing this Bloody Mary with a little pepperoncini just for a pop of color. It's a nice sweeter pepper. And we're also going to have a fun little silly straw. It's a perfect tropical spin on a traditional Bloody Mary.
When you just need something that next morning, there's nothing better than a Bloody Mary. There are a million different ways of doing this, from very, very complicated to really simple. As a home bartender, I err on the side of more simple. So I will throw in some ice. Here we go, some Bloody Mary mix. I think Bloody Mary mix is fine for Bloody Marys at home because really, chances are you're probably a little bit hungover or you need to make this pretty quickly. I am gonna measure out the vodka in this one because you don't want it to be too heavy-handed of a pour first thing in the morning, but I am going to make it a double. We're gonna add in some pepper, some Tabasco sauce, give it a little bit of a shake. There's a little bit of room at the top because we have more ingredients to put in. A little bit of celery, and then a little bit of olive, some fresh tomato. I love these tomatoes. Another olive, throw some cucumber in. There you go. That is a classic home Bloody Mary.
I work currently in a vinyl cocktail bar. We open at 5 p.m. Never once have I ever received an order for a Bloody Mary. This isn't a cocktail I would particularly serve in my bar, but this is the recipe I like. So I'm gonna rim this with a chili salt. So it's gonna be 1.5 ounces of vodka. I'm gonna go in with 1/2 ounce of Ancho Reyes. This is a poblano pepper liqueur. So it's a little bit spicy. It more just adds roundness and depth to the cocktail. Mezcal, just for a little bit of smoky quality to the cocktail. My next ingredient is actually fresh lemon juice. I think a Bloody Mary needs additional acidity. I'm I'm just gonna top this off with a Bloody Mary mix that I made. So this is actually 50% clamato juice. It's 50% tomato juice, a very, very intense hot sauce called El Yucateco, which is made from habaneros, and a little bit of Worcestershire. The clamato has almost like an MSG quality to it, so it just makes you want to continue to drink more. So I made this last night. I let it sit in my fridge. I don't think this is a cocktail that needs to be shaken or stirred. I just think it needs a little bit of movement in the glass to get everything combined. I have these beautiful dehydrated lemon wheels. I think that looks really nice on the glass. I also, controversial, have a olive as well, which I think is gonna look really beautiful.
We never make Bloody Marys at my bar. We open at 5 p.m. and Bloody Marys tend to be more of a brunch restaurant type thing. I think bartenders have mixed opinions on Bloody Marys because usually it's an indication of you being stuck working the brunch shift. So because we're gonna doctor a Bloody Mary mix, I'm gonna build it in the glass. Normally you would just take the mix and the vodka and pour it over ice in your serving glass. I find that some of these mixes are just, they're not spicy enough for what I like. Using the Upstate vodka from upstate New York, not just a clever name. 2 ounces of vodka in there, add the Bloody Mary mix. The reason my hand automatically goes here is when you've been working so long with a soda gun, there's been many times where the gun hits a piece of ice and shoots customers in front of you. I like a spicy Bloody Mary, so I'm gonna put a pretty decent amount of horseradish in. I use Cholula for hot sauce, and then just a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. I don't really know why it goes in there, but it does, and it's always done. And I guess it just balances the flavor a little bit. And then just gonna put a little squeeze of lime juice. I just feel weird shaking the bloodies, so I just give it a good stir. And I'm gonna go ahead and put some fresh ice in the glass. And then with a bloody, the fun thing is the garnish. You can kind of do anything you want with it. I've gone to places where they have little mini burgers on top of the Bloody Mary, which is amazing, but I don't have time to make burgers for my customers. So this is my Bloody Mary. So cheers.
You know what? That's perfect for a home Bloody Mary. It's got a good level of spice to it.
Ooh, I want to go to brunch now.
Video of me drinking a High Life, put it on my epitaph.